They would induce allergies in rats. And then they would give different formulas to try to say, how do we get rid of the allergies? So how do they give that allergy to a rat? Here's how. You take the aluminum adjuvant from the hepatitis B vaccine, and you give it to that rat with a peanut molecule. And that rat will now have permanent peanut allergies. If you want to induce a dairy allergy, you give them a dairy molecule. You want to induce a latex allergy, you give them a latex molecule. If there happens to be a Timothy weed outbreak, when you get that, first of all, there are a lot of the vaccines contain peanut oil excipients, or other tree nut excipients. And, maybe that's why all these kids have peanut allergies, because you're giving the aluminum adjuvant and the, peanut molecule.
So
let's say just in the ambient environment, there's a Timothy weed outbreak. Now you could, if it occurs when you're getting that aluminum adjuvant, you may now have a Timothy weed allergy for the rest of your life. Vaccinated children have 30 times the rate of allergic rhinitis as unvaccinated children. And the reason is obvious. We're giving these kids allergies systematically.
It puts the body in the most high alert, immunoreactive state. And then the body's intelligence goes looking, holy shit, something is causing this. What is causing this? Everything that is foreign, everything that is not self, and sometimes even including self, which would be the autoimmune conditions, something is causing this. Let's create defenses against all of these things we find in our body. And yes, it may include the weakened pathogen that is part of the vaccine, but it also includes everything else in the body and sometimes the body itself.
Exactly. And they never test. Here, try the vaccine. You get the vaccine, you don't, and go out in the world to see who gets infected. And, that's not how the only thing they look for is science. Do you have an immune response? Right. And you have to have a sufficiently robust and durable immune response to get that FDA license. And the dead virus would not give it to you.
Dead soldiers landed on our beach. Do we need to mount our army response? No, they're dead.
Yeah. So what they found out was that if they added something horrendously toxic to that vaccine, that, as you said, the body would go, holy cow, whatever they just gave me is really bad, and I better remember it, respond to it, be ready to respond to it. So it looks at all of the items in the vaccine, including the dead virus, and it is then ready for it. And the immune response is much higher. And one of the axioms in vaccinology is the more toxic the adjuvant, the more robust the immune response, the more likely you are to get the license. This is why vaccinologists hate toxicologists and vice versa. Toxicologists ask this very inconvenient question. After it gives you this robust response, what happened to it? Like, what is the fate in the human body of this molecule? Is it being excreted? Is it lodging in your brain? Is it crossing the blood-brain barrier? What happens to it? The vaccinologists don't care. All they care is they prevented you from getting the disease. Mm-hmm. And if they've injured you and, or made you lose IQ or something else, they don't care.
And this is part of this kind of myopic mindset that is permeated the entirety of, allopathic medicine to a certain degree, where it's just so narrowly focused on the one symptom of the one thing that they're targeting, that there's no holistic view of human health and thriving, targeting this specific thing, and whatever else happens to the rest of the body, as long as it passes through the FDA regulatory trials, so be it. Then there'll be another thing, another drug that they'll develop to attack the symptoms that were caused by this other drug, and it'll go on down the line until you're on an infinity of medications that holistically undermine the entire health of a human being.